Welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain. We got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in the question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we gonna hit you with them stone cold facts. And allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to the Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast, where we always have such sights to show you. This convalescent android of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me today is my also host, the Bammy to Jammy Lee from Double Dragon, Winter Trash Monk the Thizzard.
What's up, everybody? This is Trash Monk the Third, Trash Monk I. That's Trash Monk I. And I'm coming at you from the trash bunker, eating some chicken and wild rice soup that I paid $3.99 for, and I'm pretty sure it's from a can.
Nice.
Back to you, Mike.
You know, the canned meats are the most powerful because all the juices are just congealed inside.
I bought it from the deli at my local grocery store. Yeah. And for some reason, my eye got attracted to, like, soup? You mean I could get a bucket of soup and go home with it?
Yeah, think about it like this, man. If you put like a whole chicken in like a Ziploc bag and just pressurize it for like a month, that's the most flavorful chicken you'll ever eat, dog.
Whatever, man.
Do it. And in the shadows, we have a special guest on this week's episode. We have the Twitter tyrant himself, Ozzy Austin, man. What you doing, dude?
Welcome.
Oh shit.
To the dark side.
Oh no.
The darkness has come.
The darkness.
Oh gosh, oh will occurs. Let's have a good time, y'all. Let's have a good kosher time.
Oh no, kosher.
Oh, he does voices.
Oh no, he's gonna hit us with them voice talents.
Can you do Jeff Bridges?
Do Jeff Bridges.
Oh yeah.
That's good enough. I'm with it.
Okay, now do Jeff Goldblum.
Do it.
Oh, so you see, I'm just so very sexy, and I was in Jurassic Park.
He was in Jurassic Park.
Yes, he does say that a lot.
He says it
does
all
say
the
that
time.
quite a bit.
He says it to whoever will listen. So normally
when he's opened up his falafel restaurant or truck store.
You didn't see it, but I also did like the really crazy hand gestures where it looks like he's trying to massage the air between people.
I call that the Nicolas Cage. You know what I'm saying? Where you talk with your hands.
No, you call it the Nicolas Cage when you buy a pyramid in New Orleans.
Dude, isn't that the dream though? I would super buy a pyramid in Inglewood and dare people to say anything to me. Like, just put it in the middle of Los Angeles so you can see it from space. It's my money. Don't tell me anything.
Oh, man. I would pay to see Nicolas Cage just riding a pyramid down the middle of a street.
I just want to see him slide down it like freaking like Assassin's Creed to his car or something.
Well, considering what he looks like now, he probably just faceplant real hard and just leave a bloody smear.
Yeah, man, he's literally Mum-Ra, Doug. He became Mum-Ra. Out of control. So normally we would do a normal week episode where we go through our weeks and talk about the news, but nah, we're not doing that today. Because you know what this week is, right?
Star Trek.
Wars.
Star Wars.
Can we just end the podcast now? Because we're just face planting.
Space.
I mean, I have
the final force tier.
I have Winter's address. I can go find him.
No, well, you're supposed to send me like goodies, or I don't know.
I think Winter has like a Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween level traps at his house, so anybody who just comes through better be prepared because they're gonna fall through a trapdoor or something.
Winter's off in the background taking rifle competitions, just leveling a pump action, just doing a lever action rifle, dead to aim, boom, 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 boom.
Winter can assemble and disassemble a Kalashnikov blindfolded in under 35 seconds. That's the lore I'm building right now.
Those are words that he said, folks.
Oh man, I've seen him do it. We're talking about Star Wars, guys. We're hijacking this week's show. and we're just going to talk about Star Wars. This is the Star Wars cast. Apropos of nothing. I guess the movie's coming out this month.
This month.
I guess this year. Because they're annual now. And we're just going to talk, we're three guys, we're just going to talk about Star Wars ad nauseum until we all go to sleep. So, my first question, and it's going to be a yin-yang kind of question. So I'm going to pose this first to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best thing about Star Wars? What is the worst thing about Star Wars? Go.
The best thing about Star Wars is the inherent sense of hope and goodness that can come from the smallest, most insignificant person in existence that can lead to changed lives, destinies, and entire galaxies.
Like the midichlorians.
The worst thing about Star Wars is the fact that George Lucas wanted to make a mini-universe focused around midichlorians and their daily lives because apparently they're sentient beings.
Did you know this midichlorians?
Jerry Seinfeld is a midichlorian. What's the deal with all these Jedi strikes?
Man, Rob Schneider is
They don't
the
strike, they
midichlorian.
slice. It should be Jedi slice.
There are Jedi flies. It's kind of like the Green Lantern Corps.
Acknowledge the voice.
No.
Okay.
You see, now that Austin's here, he's our joke lord. He's our
I'm the joke lord.
He's the joke lord now.
Yeah.
So all jokes have to be passed through him for inspection, Doug.
I am the one who does all the approvals, and you are denied.
You are denied. Come back 1 year. Star Wars, man. There's certain things in life that you just can't avoid, like breathing. Maybe falling is one of them. I think every human has fallen at least once in life.
Yeah.
Dreams, maybe. Everyone on Earth has dreamed at least once. And I think that Star Wars is one of those things that you just can't avoid, no matter where you are in the world. You're gonna just be digging through like your Amazon rainforest water.
Now
you're gonna just see a flyer of Boba Fett or something.
I bet 3 people that have not seen any Star Wars movies in the last
But
year.
they've seen all
they know
like
what it
the
is.
advertisements or
Yeah, they've seen the advertisements. But
they
know
know,
what it
oh,
is.
space wizards. They have gigantic lightsabers or something.
Darth Vader is probably one of the most well-known silhouettes in
Right,
in human
right.
history.
But they've never sat down to watch a full movie.
That's not the same thing. They have to acknowledge his existence. Not
Yeah, like
necessarily see
it has broken into the ether, man, of
That's what I'm
the
saying.
culture.
It's a zeitgeist. It's a cultural awareness.
It's cultural awareness. It's the Mandela effect made
You
flesh.
over there.
Yeah,
Excuse me, I have a college vacation.
I am
Yeah.
I am smart, S-A-R-T. Oh, I mean S-M-A-R-T. You know. So Star Wars, man. To understand the future, let's go to the past, man. So the movie debuts. A young whippersnapper, George Lucas, has nothing but spit in his mouth and a star in his eye.
I just finished American Graffiti.
American Graffiti.
I love Modesto.
I love Modesto so much. I love you. I love you, Ski. And
I'm
comes
George
up-
Lucas, and I love sand.
I love sand. They can just play together. So Star Wars comes.
I forced
out.
you to get me. Oh, I was going to steal a joke. Never mind.
That's okay.
I'll just
Still it.
No,
for
Mike
later.
referenced a better joke.
You already know what I'm
forced
talking
you-
about,
yeah.
right?
You'll get me a Diet Pepsi.
That can
It's
just play
it's an SNL.
But George, they're separated by 2,000 years. They're just play. He's like, I can't with you, George. So Star Wars comes out and just blows everyone's ass open with sci-fi fantasy forever, right? Mm-hmm. And the world's never quite the same after that. It's just this big tidal wave of science fiction, just adventuring until today. And this was 40 years ago at this point. A series that spanned generations, good or bad, right? Can you imagine growing up during like the prequel series?
I grew up during the prequel series.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty, right? And it's like,
So, Mike, I'm gonna interrupt your diatribe real quick.
yeah, of course.
So at this point, then, I have to ask the both of you: what is the best out of the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, 6?
It's Empire, dude.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back
Empire,
is the dope.
It's
Okay.
the best. It's the
I can
best Star Wars
continue
movie ever.
associating with you.
Yeah, there's no. That is the right answer, man. I mean,
I really like Return of the Jedi.
I mean, there are those Return of the Jedi defenders, and I'm not gonna. There are some dope parts in Return, other than the fact they killed they killed Boba Fett off in a comedic fashion, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, Return is just, man, it's a little rough.
And then Leia.
But that was the birth of the corruption of the series, right? That's where money.
I wouldn't say that.
I would say the corruption has always been there.
No, I would say that A New Hope and Empire are still movies, right? They're still movies that try to tell a story.
Okay.
Once you start going into Return, they start realizing that these characters make money.
Okay, so it's at Return that the series just kind of went to it's okay. We'll just have like a really nice little soft clap. And
People
then
love teddy bears, man.
I know, but guess what?
Bears.
The series started dying, for me at least, in episode 1. When, it's Liam Neeson. He's running around. He's a really cool Jedi. Oh, he's going to swing the Force. What is it? It's midichlorians in your system. It's like, okay, this system just, wow, system of a down. I'm about to die.
I'm seeing, I can smell peanut butter. But you can't deny the hype of episode 1, though. The Earth was on fire when
I
movie was
remember.
coming out.
Yeah.
It was insane, dude.
Wasn't there like Mountain Dew had like different characters?
They had Red Mountain Dew.
Mountain. They had Darth Maul Mountain Dew and stupid stuff like that.
God, Darth Maul, Jesus Christ!
What a wasted character, man! And they tried running him back so hard in the cartoon.
They made him a thing in the Clone Wars and then in Rebels.
That's what I'm saying. They tried to run that back. It's like, oh man, we killed Gwen.
And the Solo movie. Don't forget the Solo movie.
Oh geez, we don't want to talk about that. But we have to because this is the Star Wars cast. But I mean, the potential of Episode 1, and I love that now in modern Star Wars, they're paying homage to the prequels in a respective manner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're making them kind of cool again. Not that they were ever cool, even though I will defend Revenge of the Sith all day long. I think that's the best of the prequels.
Well, you're talking. Well, I enjoy the entire Star Wars series.
No,
you don't. No, you don't.
No,
man. No, you don't.
Winter, sit down.
Nobody does.
Sit down, right? Goddamn.
I enjoy it.
I'll sit down,
young man. Sit down and listen to me as I spell the gospel for you.
Okay. This reminds me of when I went to go see Spider-Man 3 with my buddy, and we watched through the whole movie, and I was so like enamored with it's Spider-Man. And my buddy was like, "That movie sucked." I was like, "No, man, it was awesome. Did you see Venom?" "No, it sucked, Mike. You need to understand it sucked." And I was so glazed over by the spectacle that I went home and thought about. I was like, "That was a bad movie," and I think I did that with all of the Star Wars prequels, and
I did that with Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel's like, I did that with Superman Returns. I thought it was awesome, and my buddy was like, "That sucked, dude."
Well,
but back to the point, Winter, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You were very wrong.
Well, you never asked me what I enjoy about the series and what I don't like about it.
You enjoyed it, therefore you were wrong.
Star Wars fans can't be happy. Don't you understand, true Star Wars fans?
You can't have a female lead. That is wrong.
It's like breathing in air and exhaling, carbon monoxide, dude.
You can't drive a ship through another ship at warp speed. That is wrong.
It's cool, but it's wrong. And
Star Wars fans are the worst.
And that kind of leads me to another question.
I think there's some group folks that agree with me out there.
Of course there are.
There are good stuff in those series. Yes.
Yeah, that's why you still haven't asked me what I think what I like most about the.
What is your wrongful assumption of what is important?
Wow.
Okay, I think a big part of this series is the idea of repetitive cycles in the mythos.
That's what you like?
Yeah. Yes.
So you like that essentially because no one's willing to really change much. It just goes through a never-ending loop, essentially.
A loop of content.
Not really.
I mean, not from like a creative standpoint.
I go into my mind of like, okay, we all know about Joseph Campbell, the heroes of A Thousand Faces. And I go, how did George Lucas put that into the first movie? And then how do we see that progress in the original trilogy? Then how do we see that progress in the prequel? And then how do we see that in the sequel series? where now we see there's a bend in the cycle to where we see people trying to break away from that cycle and make a new one.
Yeah.
And
You saw what happened with that, right?
Yeah.
Fans
I think there is merit to that.
Yeah.
I agree with Winter. There is merit to that. That's like one of the few things good about the prequel trilogy, I should say then, is that they're trying to change things, they're trying to adapt, but everyone just gets dragged down to the bottom no matter what.
Yeah, because Star Wars fans don't want change.
No, it's not the fans. It's like the people in the universe, like the entire Jedi Order and everything else. Like, they try to change things, but nope, they screwed up again.
Well, it's like Winter was saying, it's very cyclical back from the Trade Federation all the way to the First Order.
And that's what I like about it. But what I don't like about it is that there's people's different definitions of what that cycle should be throughout the entirety of the series, where there's, and it's like George Lucas from the original trilogy is different from George Lucas from the prequel.
He's a different man, dude. The
Yeah.
same person who wrote The Shining didn't write Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So that adjustment alone changes the view of the entire series. Because
right.
All
right, quick hot take. Hot take.
Yep.
In the new trilogy, who is better, J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson?
I prefer Rian Johnson, but I am crazy and I've been told I'm wrong.
Oh man, I liked Rian Johnson's Star Wars. I think he has exactly what I'm thinking about, where he went so against what the cycle is supposed to be in my mind that people got pissed off.
Yeah.
Because
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, it's like it's not what you were expecting. But that's what the character of Rey has, where she is an anomaly in the mythos of the Skywalker saga. So
I 100% back that.
Yeah.
The only reason that Rey is like so interesting is because she's not supposed to be a Skywalker. She's supposed to be a random person who breaks everything down and lets the universe take a collective sigh of relief from this freaking 70+ year family drama bullcrap.
But the thing about Rey and what makes her so compelling is that she is just Luke. Because before Luke jumped on the scene, there wasn't Skywalker or anything. There was just Darth Vader. Their Jedi were extinct at that point. Mm-hmm. Sith were technically extinct, outside of Darth, but they weren't even calling each other Sith. The name Sith does not show up in the first 3 movies. So Luke is kind of dropped into the middle of this I would say conflict between the rebels in the Empire, just like Rey is dropped in the center of this conflict between the Resistance and the First Order.
I mean, the analogies are pretty spot on. Rey is Luke, Finn is Han, but there is no Princess Leia, so that's
but what is Poe?
Finn is Leia. Finn is Leia. Poe is Han.
Huh, you think so?
Finn is Leia, because Rey and Finn have been attached to the hip throughout the entire series, and also there's hints that Finn is force sensitive in a way, so he's more akin to Leia than Poe Dameron, who has no connection to the Force. He really has no connection to any of the space wizardry. He's just a good ass pilot who has a QBB.
I can see that. Actually, I can see that quite easily.
You know what I mean? And I think and you asked the question, who's better, Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams, and I think they're both problematic in very different ways. They're almost opposite sides of a spectrum. Where
my big deal is like J.J. Abrams, his movie Episode 7 was so very much a rehash of Episode 4. It's nothing challenging. It's nothing new.
Nope.
You have the mentor figure who dies. Yep. There's literally just a Death Star again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's some new Jedi who's being trained up.
Yep.
There's just so many symbolisms and analogies that are basically rip-offs straight from Episode 4.
But I think that's done on purpose.
Yes, it is. It's supposed to be nostalgic. and that's really, really boring.
But that's a
Well,
very
not nostalgic. It's supposed to show like the cyclical nature.
no.
Of,
It's
look,
nostalgia, bro. It's just pure.
Okay, I will say Winter does have a good point. His theorem about cyclical natures and never-ending repeats.
yeah,
Behind
war it never changes.
And the
Do
thing
you know where that's from, Winter?
Battlefield 1.
Winter
Am
does
I
not
right?
know where that's from.
War never changes.
No, man, it's the two, and just to use Star Wars as an analogy, there needs to be a balance in the Force. You can't have someone who's all pure nostalgia, and there's no meat to what they're talking about, versus someone who completely abandons nostalgia and wants to kind of set a new course for the series. Fans backlashed both sides of that. People didn't like The Force Awakens because it was too much like A New Hope. But then you have The Last Jedi. People hate it because it wasn't Star Wars.
Oh, I love The Last Jedi more than anything else.
But I
love
can't
it.
necessarily go by what all the fans say because they inherently have like a I don't want to get the backlash.
Star Wars fans can't feel joy or the spray of the sea.
Oh, can't
Star Wars
feel-
fans don't know how to make a movie.
No.
Well, I don't.
But they know what they want, though.
It's the idea of what do I want?
Star Wars fans super know what they want. But they don't know how to. They don't know what receptacle to put those emotions in.
Right.
This is why Star Wars can't change anymore. But I used to feel that way. The backlash of The Last Jedi filled me with so much dread about the future of Star Wars that I just didn't care anymore. Like, fans have ruined it. Fans have spit so much vitriol at this series that there's no repairing it. But then The Mandalorian came along and showed me what Star Wars could be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my faith's restored. This is a direction that the universe could go. That's just so understated and so skillfully written that I'm actually have some hope for the future.
Well, there's other examples of good writing besides just the movies, though. If you take, for example,
The canon
BioWare's entire series of Knights of the Old Republic, 1 and 2 for the original RPG games, and then their MMO, which the MMO is like a weird state of canon, not canon, constantly. So it's very, very confusing, but there are good storylines there. Dude. I would say that out of most Western MMOs, Knights of the Old Republic has some of the best writing available.
The dynamic between Sith and Knights of the Old Republic 2 is the best depiction of their conflict in any form of media too. Right. That kind of threesome between the Sith and their kind of dynamic and ideologies, and it's just brilliant writing that the studios would never allow to be on screen because it's just
because Disney is afraid of taking chances. And as we saw when they released that Black Widow trailer today.
Don't get me started on that. Oh, Jesus.
Do not mention its name.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
So you mentioned like outside of the film and kind of the influences it's had on comics. There's a really good Darth Vader book out there right now.
Didn't they reboot the Star Wars comic?
Yeah, they did for Marvel.
Yeah. And there's an entire Darth Vader run that's amazing.
Super good, dude. It's super good, man. It's
like there's a specific scene I see where like there's an entire like division of Republic troopers surrounding Vader, saying they have him surrounded, and all he says is, "All I see are dead men."
He's surrounded by the division. They say, "Don't move, you're surrounded." He says, "All I'm surrounded by is fear and death."
Okay, that's what it is.
And he just force wipes the entire. And if you've kind of seen, I kind of cheated and saw the ending of the Fallen Order Star Wars.
Same.
And just because I didn't want
Yeah, I'm not going to play the game.
I am saving myself like I saved myself from marriage.
Nice, aren't you so chaste? Just like Luke Skywalker.
There's a Madonna song about this.
Like a prayer.
God, there is.
Let's talk about Darth Vader for a second. Let's talk about the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
And what story that tells. And how all this new trilogy is just kind of an epilogue of that backlash, right? is not anything new. It's just the epilogue.
Darth Vader is
the fall of Darth Vader.
The original neckbeard.
This is what happens when you don't hold on to abstinence.
Sorry, no, he's the original incel.
He's the most
original
incel.
Yeah. Yeah,
If there was mad.
If there was Reddit in the Star Wars universe.
Oh please, incels existed before Reddit, Winter.
In a galaxy far, far away.
But I will say,
don't call me out, Austin.
Damn it!
I mean, like, think about it. He's an incel. Like, he's just so mad that he can't be with a woman, and when he finally does it, he gets really angry and snaps her fucking neck.
Here's the thing.
Oh gosh,
Anakin Skywalker.
Sorry, it just slipped out.
You got my weird Star Wars.
The dark side is strong in this one.
The dark side is strong in you.
No, it's just Anakin Skywalker's always had anger issues, man.
Oh my god, he's such a child.
Issues. Yeah, and that's the thing. The Darth Vader was up until the moment of his catharsis. He was a child.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Like, his coming of age was him losing everything.
Was him losing everything by his own hand. Not hands, because he lost one.
But I like the message, though, in Phantom Menace that shows, like, Qui-Gon Jinn sees his, like, midichlorian count is through the roof, but after being interviewed by the council, they go, "We will not train the boy."
Nah, man, because there's rules.
And then
to
Qui-Gon
this,
goes, "I'll train him myself.
I'm gonna train him anyway."
Yeah.
And thus
you saw that there was an issue with that, like 2 apprentices.
Yeah, it's stupid because he
so
broke the
Qui-Gon
rules,
is
man.
bending the rules to fit. Like, I have a feeling that this kid has some potential. So already they're breaking the path away from the Jedi style.
True, but you could also say that the entire time Qui-Gon Jinn was a renowned gray Jedi. He was a lot of, Jedi have some things right, but they have a lot of other things they don't do.
Jedi
right.
renegade. He didn't necessarily follow their rules exactly, which led to the fall of Jedis for 50, 60 years. It's Qui-Gon's fault, guys. And the thing is, it's like, man, this kid is jumping through the roof, man. Look at this kid. He's amazing. We're going to draft him. He's 10. Mm-hmm. This is the NBA. You can't draft him. Well, I'm going to draft him anyway. and then he's on the Lakers.
I don't get this analogy.
Oh, sorry. It's a sports analogy. But
put it into hockey sense. Like, talk about the game that happens.
He shoots from one net to the other in like a second.
He's like Happy Gilmore, where he can just hit the ball for over 700 yards. But Qui-Gon's failure was his own hubris. I can train the kid. Even though I'm still training Obi-Wan. This kid is so hype that I found this diamond in the rough, right? And no one's gonna tell me no, because Obi-Wan was already on his way out. He was about to Padawan out. He was like, it's crazy.
This makes me just like think back to the Clone Wars and how good that is as a medium. Because guess what? We see stuff where they try to advance that plot. Yep. Like, Anakin is a child. How do you make a child into a man? You give him another child to train and try to become a person. Let's give him Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano is the most unsung, weirdest character in the entire series, man. She is such a sore thumb, but then becomes the best ever. She has the best redemption arc as a character in the series, because it's like the most petulant Jedi is training a petulant Jedi. You know,
it's quite amazing.
It's quite amazing, and her arc and how that shifts is something that she's one of those characters that just has to show up on screen because she's so popular. At some point, technically, she is still floating around the canon somewhere. I would
love that.
She's gonna show up somewhere, dude. Especially with whatever they do in the future. But Darth Vader, I just wanted to kind of stick to Anakin for a little bit. Is that what was the point of his downfall? Was it pod racing? Was it when he slayed that entire village of Tusken Raiders?
I think if you're going to be serious, it's going to be seeing him and his mother being subjected to slavery so easily within the Republic. Being subjected to slavery so offhandedly that nobody does a thing about it.
If you think about it, he's just Magneto. suffer through the tyranny of an empire that kept him in chains all his young life. The moment he finds freedom, he doesn't know what to do with it. He can't mentally handle it.
Guess what? When Magneto had kids, nothing happened to him. He was just like, cool, I'm strong. When Anakin had kids, he's like, whoops, I'm dead.
Well, Anakin was stupid because he didn't have the high ground. If he had the high ground, Star Wars would be very different.
Get off of here with your memes, Mike.
I'm just saying.
Get off of here with your memes.
My favorite Jedi in the series is Obi-Wan Kenobi because he's the most competent Jedi of the entire series.
Mike, get off the pedestal. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done here.
He is the most competent Jedi.
No, Winter, bring something else into this topic round. Go.
What?
Yeah.
Find the lie.
I'm trying to think about what the different characters represent. Where it's like
Yoda's a boomer.
Yoda is a boomer, and Baby Yoda says "boomer." Okay. Let's talk about Han Solo for a second, man. Let's talk about Harrison Ford, Doug.
Yeah,
is Han Solo supposed to be the character we relate to the most?
No, it's Luke. It was always
Luke. Luke is a no-name nobody who gets himself up to aspirations and ideals.
So we can relate to someone that has Force?
No, we can relate to someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Okay,
Winter, in real life, the Force is love.
Shut up. Let's go back to Obi-Wan.
No, I think the Force is love. Oh, jeez.
But what is love?
Baby, don't hurt
Being
me.
married?
Baby, don't hurt me no more. The rogue, right? Han Solo is always at a perpetual state of I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Why am I in the middle of this? But then he starts falling for Leia, and love kind of carries him through the rest of the series. And I think that's interesting because the new series, the new trilogy, there is no love connection. No one loves anyone. The closest thing we have is...
I would actually say it's more of a focus on familial and friendship love.
Yeah. It's 2019, okay? We don't need no love.
We don't need no love.
It's 2019. A black person could be a main character in Star Wars.
How dare you, sir?
No!
How dare you make the very first...
I'm melting!
How dare you make the very first scene of our new trilogy as a black man in a stormtrooper suit? How dare you?
Yeah. Also, the fact they had a black man in the space Nazi uniform is...
It's kind of... Think about it that way.
Now, so there's some areas that I'm blank in my
Also,
mind.
Adam Driver is sexy as hell.
Yeah, especially when that super white...
He's got big hands.
He talks in a weird way.
I watched him in The Report. It's on Amazon. It's a 2-hour-long movie.
He has man hands.
I was listening to a podcast, and it's called the Film Reroll. Check it out, by the way. Good stuff. Somebody went to acting school with Adam Driver after he was out of the Marines. Dude was a nut. Apparently, he ate a whole rotisserie chicken between classes while running around campus.
Man,
I eat a whole rotisserie chicken a night.
How?
But between classes, Winter, 10 minutes. Do that.
That's pretty messed up. You get a lot of dry white meat in there. That's the problem.
That dry.
Well, he's a very dry white guy.
That dry
but
white,
his big hands could grab the whole thing, and he could run down the aisles with his
Is this
hand
big hands thing like your fetish? What's going on?
It's just, I saw there was a scene in The Report where he had his hand on top of a chair. That hand is disproportionate to his head.
You know who also has big hands?
Ooh, force choking. Ooh.
Zaddy.
My mind would go,
Daddy.
You don't have to use the force. Your hand's big enough from where you're standing 5 feet away to grab me still.
Winter wants to be choked up by Adam Driver. Pro tip.
Haiku review.
Pro tip, Sharks play later on tonight.
All
right, Winter, we interrupted you earlier. Sorry. You were making an original point, though?
Yeah,
his hands are big.
Before that.
Okay.
Oh, well, now I can't remember. No, this was I don't know. There's some parts that my mind are blank about certain Star Wars things. How is it possible that when is the transition from the stormtroopers no longer being clones of
I was thinking about that the other day.
It's actually explained. It's explained right after Revenge of the Sith. They stop using the clone program because it's too faulty, and so they just start indoctrinating and brainwashing random people, essentially.
And that's how Finn kind of got tied in, because he was tied in with all that stormtrooper conditioning.
So
But he
essentially,
didn't take to him for some.
what took over for the younglings of the Jedi Academy could be the Stormtrooper, like
Not-
the Stormtrooper Academy.
So no.
Okay, sorry.
That's oof. Come here, youngling. Did you survive his onslaught? Sign
No,
up
no,
to
just
get
like you know,
Come here,
how,
little boy. Let's get dead.
like an army takes over, and like this is no longer free high school. This is now doctrinary
No,
school.
man. You know,
The Sith just employ Pennywise. Oh, come here, little boy.
no, man. It's just you go to high school, you see a poster that says "I choose you."
Yes. This
Except
is no
for,
longer lightsaber. It is
Except
blaster.
for Uncle Sam, it's the Emperor. I choose you. Sign up to be a stormtrooper.
Oh man, this is getting off base way too
okay.
fast.
It's
So,
like military.
explain.
It's like the U.S. military, Doug. You know.
Okay, so essentially, the stormtroopers, as far as I know, were taken away from the clone program because the clones were just tired of being sent to die and living short-ass lives.
Like Mr. Meeseeks.
Essentially, yeah. And so Palpatine cut deals like, hey, kill all Jedi, no more of that.
Oh, that's
Order
okay.
66. Yeah.
So that would be an interesting, like, little side movie
That's
that they did.
why I want
of like a
Mandalorian.
clone going all around.
A familiar face.
Yes.
We had a deal, Palpatine.
One fascinating thing about Star Wars is giant gaps in time.
Yeah.
You know, between like Revenge of the Sith and let's say a New
Even in the
Hope.
Mandalorian.
That's like 30. That's like at least 20 years.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian takes place between Return of the Jedi and A Force Awakens. That's like
Well, in
40
episode
years.
4, there's the time jump of like a couple of months, I believe.
Yeah, because when you go to the Force,
Something like that, yeah.
So I'm like, I love that there's so much room to wiggle in Star Wars lore. You know what I mean?
And you
Well,
like
that's
to
what-
wiggle.
I do.
I
like
mean,
to
that's what
wiggle.
gives you credence to like all the other errata and all the other sources. Like freaking Clone Wars. Guess what happens? There's a time skip near the end.
The Clone Wars took a
Where
long
they show-
time.
Yeah, exactly. It's either Clone Wars or Rebels. I forget which one it is.
I think it's Clone Wars.
There's a skip where it shows Obi-Wan on Tatooine, old and decrepit as hell, and guess who finds him? Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this dialogue, and there's like about 10 seconds of stillness. Then they both just do one slash. Obi-Wan gets it. Darth Maul collapses. And if anything, it's really fun because Darth Maul collapses and dies in Obi-Wan's arms. But this really
I'll always
moment.
love you.
But I'm crazy to say that Obi-Wan's the best Jedi ever.
Well, yes.
Oh, nah. Choosers can't be better.
There's
than Smash.
lore in the storyline of a Jedi that's better than him. That's the chosen one.
Who exactly? Okay, that's a good question. Who is the true chosen one? Is
I mean,
it really
it was-
Anakin? Is it Anakin? Is it?
It was
Luke? Is it
Anakin.
Rey?
It's going
For
to
that
be
matter?
Princess Leia. Queen Leia.
I mean, okay, to be
Leia.
fair, Queen Leia like managed to get herself out of a vacuum in space with no training.
The last 5 months
Who's
was
to say
just
she didn't have
them doing
training?
CGI work on the
There's
last
a lot of time that passed between Return of the Jedi and Fallen Order. She could have been training the whole time.
Ah, that's true.
She could have been some sick, weird Jedi counselor that doesn't fight, but she has mad force powers.
Or we all have metachlorians.
We
and
do,
we can
actually.
all be Jedi.
That's the entire point of the story somehow.
But who is the chosen
George
one?
Lucas made that canon. Everyone has midichlorians. Some just have more.
Yep, some just have more.
Everyone has I have more.
It's called
Well, how many do you have? More than you.
in the real world. It's called melatonin.
Well, have you guys ever heard about the metachlorian? Shit, melatonin.
Wow. This felt like you went to a racist tirade real
Yeah, I need you to slow down on all of that. I co-signed for a split second. I was like, wait, what?
Windsor, I'm in the South. You are not. You cannot do that. That's cultural appropriation.
101.
Well, excuse me if I ever try to join the conversation.
Okay, let's talk about.
I think about to say join the clan. I was really worried for a second.
I choose you.
I think
Oh,
people
geez.
I think people are enjoying the joke. Okay.
Can we talk about the Jedi and the Sith, the most hypocritical two sides of a coin ever created?
Or you mean one is Zen, just don't feel anything. The other one is embrace literally everything.
Yeah.
And every
There's no
normal
gray
person
area.
just goes, keep me out of your religious schism bullcrap. I'm going to go farm my potatoes.
You know how bad the Jedi Siths Schism has wrecked their universe
Right.
time and time again.
Oh my God,
it's so powerful.
It
and
was
so
not just
ignorant.
the Jedi and the Sith; it's the Jedi then the Mandalorians, right?
Well, you got to think about the Mandalorian War that the
Yeah.
Jedi just inserted themselves into. You know what I mean? And the Sith are always plotting to, what is the Sith's end game? That they just run shit?
Power.
It's
Power.
just power?
Yeah.
Power.
However,
Like,
they
isn't
can get
that
it?
why there can only be the
But it's
the like
individual
supreme
power.
Sith and like the Sith apprentice?
Well, it's the rule
No,
too.
so the rule of two is actually something different. The rule of two came from the fall of the Sith Empire,
Okay.
when a Sith Lord basically figured out that if there's too many Sith, they're too noticeable. And so one Sith Master and one Sith Apprentice need to work together to work from the inside and destroy the Jedi.
So
And
once
that's
the
how
Jedi are destroyed, then
Once the Jedi are destroyed, why bother sharing the power?
Yeah, because you've wasted that one person who's infiltrating out, because he may die, he may get struck down, he may get converted, but no matter what, the damage is done.
I mean, Sidious is this. You know who Sidious is? Like he was the Sith apprentice for a long time. Took over Plagueis and figured out, I just like this power. I'm going to take it and never let go.
Yeah, and that's kind of. But then again, the Jedi Order is also about some weird level of control.
Oh God, the Jedi Order was such a flaw. It's super just frustrating to see it
Order
happen.
Is so stagnant in their, and that's one thing that Rian Johnson tried to just throw out, the stagnant doctrine of the Jedi Order, and that we just could start over. Don't you know that? Like the Force is going to be the Force no matter what.
can we also point out too that I think Rian Johnson did a very creative thing, and it was only in 10 seconds of the movie where the gun smuggler played by Benicio del Toro showed that he sells to both this scummy guy sells to both the Rebel Alliance as well as the
First Order, yeah.
the First Order, yeah.
Also,
I think
his name is Rian Johnson. We might be getting that wrong.
Yeah. Sade Sadie.
Ryan Johnson,
Aaron.
Ryan Juson.
Okay, make your point. Make your point.
Make your point.
Sometimes I forget it, folks.
That's okay.
Ryan
Johnson, working.
Yeah,
both
makes
sides.
it kind of show look the it rains on the what you perceive as good and what you perceive as bad. We're in this we're all muddy in this together.
I mean, the point that pure good is damaging is super relevant to the series as a whole.
Fascinating to me.
Right.
It's the most fascinating part of the whole mythos is that either direction is toxic.
It's extremism. Extremism is bad in general.
And in general, and that's why gray Jedi and those who will call white or gray Jedi, they're seen as outsiders because they're no, you need and apparently Mace Windu was a gray Jedi as well.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why his lightsaber was purple because it was blue and red.
That's not why it was purple, but
It's purple because Samuel Jackson wanted it purple.
So,
and then it became
so what do y'all think of the theory that once this movie happens, Jedi will no longer be a thing, but in memoriam, Skywalkers are going to be the new Jedi?
This is something that's very real and it's very scary.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
Because
I'm with Mike. I think it might happen. There's a very good likelihood, and I hate it.
Happen, and it's a scary thought because
I hate it.
I get it. And Disney's having this big thing. They did it with Endgame, where we're going to just carpet burn the entire whatever made us money, right? Endgame shut down comic book movies, right? And it's where is it going now? It's been publicly known that Episode 9 is the end of the Skywalker trilogy, the Skywalker saga. That's all Star Wars is up till now, right? So
God, I hope it stays that way.
Where do you
God, I do.
Right? But the thing is that you still need to sell lightsabers at Disneyland. You still need to sell Wookiee plushes and Baby Yodas and stuff. So they're not going anywhere.
But at the same time, it's I don't really care that much for it. I'll go watch it to see the end of a saga I like. But if you expect me to go to Disney Plus and watch everything afterwards, tough luck. I already have 3 other streamers. I have 3 other streaming services. I'm thinking about cutting down one already. I'm not going to buy Disney Plus.
And that's what I want to talk about.
Which one are you going to cut?
Yeah.
Well, right now I have Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix. I'm thinking about just cutting out Hulu entirely.
Yeah, cut out Hulu because if you have Disney,
But Seinfeld.
you have Disney Plus, you can get Hulu anyway.
Oh.
But the future of Star Wars is murky, and they better have a good ass idea. That's all I know.
Well, I'm probably on a different side where I've been on record of saying that they could literally have like a Star Wars show for the summer, Star Wars show for the spring, Star Wars show for the Christmas time, and I'll be there.
They already have one of those. It was terrible.
It was a beautiful.
No, I'm talking about
Star
like
Wars
have the
Christmas special was
Mandalorian be
beautiful.
for like one time of the year, and then have like Obi-Wan Kenobi's show be for the other time. And
I was about to say there was a Star Wars Christmas special, and we're about to have some special words about that one.
Star Wars. Chewbacca wore a robe and he was beautiful.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I could like I need them to keep making more content.
Oh no, your wish will be granted. It's just how is that content going to be?
I mean, to be fair, they've said that it's super hard for them to come up with content because they don't have any comics or books or anything like Marvel does.
Because they struck them
need
down.
to talk to me.
That's their fault.
That's such
That's
craziness.
me smacking myself in the forehead, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
But here's the thing. You can't grow from existing content.
Right.
Because you're shoehorning yourself with 40 years of comic book, Jedi Twins, Mara Jade, Dogma. Right? You have to start clean if you want to be creative. With Marvel, you can pick and choose whatever from any storyline and make it make sense. Star Wars fans don't play that, dude.
All right, Winter, make your point.
Sorry.
I totally think that they are crazy going that they don't have enough content. They could easily take from the stuff that they've retconned and mix it all together to make something for the future. Okay?
Oh, heck yes.
And they could easily do that. And another thing is like they just need to talk to any Star Wars fan out there. They probably have. I made this script when I was 12 years old. Here's an idea.
You know the problem with that? The problem with that is they can play together, right?
No.
But George,
do you not know that story, Winter?
Okay, I'll tell it real quick. Is George Lucas is in his office and they're discussing plot lines for the new trilogy that he was planning out.
Yeah,
and he takes two action figures. One is from a character that existed during the Knights of the Old Republic time frame.
2,000 years ago.
Like 2,000 years ago. The other one is like Darth Maul. And he's just not paying attention to the conversation. And he goes, what if they became friends, these two? Well, that would be a cool story. And one of his plot lords was like, George, those characters are separated by 2,000 years of time. But they could just play together, though, right? We could just make it happen. Time warps, right? We could just make it happen. And everybody in the room just did a collective head slap because they realized this man was completely disconnected from reality at that point.
Okay, that's a funny story. That's a funny story.
So that's what I keep referencing is,
but
why don't they just play?
George,
that's like the D&D guys going, oh, she just forgot.
But that's not necessarily what I'm saying, because I'm still saying you grab the source material, but you still have the plot overlords come out and push something out from that.
Well, the plot overlords can be both beneficial and detrimental as hell. We all know that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the ones who made that cut of the last movie with no women and no female characters in it at all.
You mean the China cut?
The
China cut.
Yeah, well, that's not the plot lord's business. That's just China being China.
It wasn't the Chinese thing. It was just like a troll literally made the movie without any female characters.
Okay.
No, I mentioned that because in the China poster they took out all mention of Finn.
Oh yeah, they do not. How did China watch Black Panther?
They hated it. It made no money in China.
Watching Panther.
Ready Player One is the Black Panther for us.
Oh, did y'all know? Quick trivia: in China, they make everything about BB-8
because it's the cutest little non-threatening thing on the planet.
Actually, it's because his name is Lucky.
Oh,
8 is a very lucky, auspicious number in Chinese.
We're running out of BB-8 dolls. Stat.
That was a thing. Actually, that was a thing multiple times.
You think that wasn't part of the marketing, guys? You think?
Heck yeah!
Synergy.
I mean, also BB looks like 8.
It's borderline Fast and Furious style marketing. It's going. Let's get this Thai martial arts actor into the film.
They don't have anyone punching cars yet, so there's that.
Can we talk about the marketing for a second?
Okay.
I don't want this to get too long in the tooth, but I just want to talk about the marketing for a second. Just like how the marketing started to mold this series as early as Return of the Jedi? The marketing?
It became a vehicle for toys. I mean,
Oh,
Well, the
100%.
first one had action figures. Like you had to send this thing into mail, and it was like a certain amount of money, and then you would get these action figures.
But it wasn't the marketing overload that it's become, though.
No.
I mean, so the number one vehicle. What are the two products you can think of off the top of your head that you've seen everything for advertising wise?
Marvel and Star Wars.
For Star Wars. Sorry, in regards to Star Wars memorabilia.
Lego Millennium Falcon
Millennium
Yep.
And
and
Darth-
ice cooler R2D2.
R2D2 is a big one. Darth Vader's a big one. Darth
I'm
Vader has
thinking,
been everything
like Winter
ever.
said, the Lego Millennium Falcon. That thing is a $1 million maker, as well as just general lightsabers.
Yeah,
There's a custom website that just makes your own lightsabers.
Yep, I've seen it. It's dope. They're so expensive, but they're really cool.
Yeah, custom Ultra Sabers. That's what it's called.
Ultra
Winter, have you heard about this?
No, I don't want it. I don't need to go down this dark hole.
It is a dark hole.
Boy.
It is indeed a dark hole. So, in essence, guys, just to wrap up this Star Wars talk, what do you hope for the future of Star Wars? Like, Austin, what would be your ideal Star Wars future? Like the next, let's say, 5 years.
Well, first I'm giving Winter a link on the group chat.
Make him see it.
Make him
We'll
see it.
see.
So, in the next 5 years, I would like Star Wars to take a break after December, coming soon.
I wish.
Then make a movie in 5 years for the next trilogy. Give us a break. Jesus.
Make us miss it. Star Wars has always been better when you made us miss it.
Yeah,
Didn't they already announce the date for the next Star Wars movie?
They
they
canceled
did. It's
it
like
out.
2021 or 2022. or something.
I thought it was 2024 or something.
The
okay.
Game of Thrones dudes were supposed to do it, but they're hacked, so they're not doing it anymore.
Oh, they got really. They're no longer on the project.
Right.
Neither is Ryan Johnson, supposedly.
Yeah.
He was supposed to get his own trilogy too.
God, I hate Disney for doing that to him. Anyway,
Yep.
the next 5 years,
Put him out to pasture, man.
I would love it if we got a trilogy that didn't really focus on Jedi. Instead, it just kind of focused on everything else, and the Jedi were a side factor.
Cheers in space.
I'm thinking more so like, oh hey, there's like the entire like fringes
Yeah.
of space where law is basically non-existent and aliens are hostile. I want to go there. I want to see some weird stuff and make a side character a Force user, just a side character, not even really important.
Yeah.
Right.
The Force.
I would love that.
I'm with the Force, and the Force is with me, kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting to say that because it's becoming like commonplace. The best way that the best way I can describe the Mandalorian to my dad was it's Star Wars as a Western
Yeah.
type thing. It's a Western Star Wars story.
Definitely.
Yeah, Star Wars is becoming like a placeholder for like
That's fine.
Vietnam in space for aliens. You just go Star Wars and Star Wars, Vietnam, Star Wars.
And
Which it sounds like a killer idea now. Vietnam, Star Wars.
and that's I'm right there with you with what I would want for the future is I want the universe is so macro, it's so big that you can tell any story you want. Can you imagine like a Brightburn kind of horror movie about evil Force users that aren't Sith?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that so much.
It's like Pitch Black. You fall into a planet of Force sensitive creatures, and it's just a horror movie, dude.
There are like several races that are Force sensitive by default.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to see like some like illithid mind flayer like creatures out there
just
that
whack
just
you.
basically eat brains.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like scanners, but with like Star Wars, dude.
So it would be neat if they went back. Maybe they can't do like a whole movie, but they could do like an anthology Star Wars series where like one episode is like horror based, right?
I would down for that.
I would be down for, like you said, like a legit war movie, like
Right.
a legit comedy, like a legit funny Star Wars comedy.
Maybe some like actual mysticism. That'd be kind of fun too.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, here's some ghosts.
Apparently, the Force could do anything.
Right.
Just make
Oh god, there was in the expanded universe, there was a Sith who was so powerful in the Force, he could rip the souls out of everybody on the entire planet, make a bomb, and destroy a planet with it.
That does definitely sound like
that's some Naruto shit. Jiriki. But yeah, I just want Star Wars to just steer away from Jedi.
What are these words you talk of?
Right.
They're anime nerds.
And I always pitch my idea when we talk about Star Wars, where
I haven't heard
advertisement alert.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Where
sponsor.
you go to a distant planet off the beaten path, and it's a normal city, and then you see the camera like follow a bunch of children running through the aisles and alleyways, and then they're like grabbing sticks and stuff, and then you get to their destination, and then they start whacking at this body on the ground, and then you go, Misa, no! And then it's Jar Jar Binks, and this takes place after Revenge of the Sith, where he is a village idiot, and it's a story of redemption, where he now needs to regain a little bit of self-respect.
Okay.
I mean, this is after he became a Sith Lord.
This is after he became a Sith Lord.
Not canon.
Okay, this is one thing I want to say about Rise of the Skywalker, is if the Emperor is in this movie. If the Emperor's in this movie, I just want him to be eyes, a brain, and a spinal cord.
I want him to be a ghost. I want him to legit just be a ghost.
No, I want him to be disturbingly gross, like Homeboy in RoboCop 2, where it's just an eyeball in a jar with a brain and a spinal cord that does everything through the Force. He can't talk. He talks through the Force, and it's just a floating spinal cord in a brain.
Okay, counterpoint. I want him to be a legit ghost, just bound to the Death Star, unable to move on. So he decided to say, "Screw it! I'm going to destroy everything from the shadows."
He has like a death field around the Death Star, and whoever enters it is just like the Grudge.
Then you have Obi-Wan Kenobi and quite like all the great Jedi that died now fight the Emperor in a CGI battle.
Can you imagine a Final Fantasy VII level Knights of the Round Table where it's Rey and it's all the Jedi Knights striking at a Palpatine at the same time?
Rey goes, "Assemble!"
Can you imagine how sick that would be?
That'd be actually pretty cool. I have to admit.
And the Knights of Justice taking evil down.
Just have like power metal.
That's all I want.
You know what would be ballsy as all hell? Is if they destroy Palpatine, they destroy the Force forever in the universe.
Just fuck it.
Or they would have to do.
Force, dude.
They would have to do like an X-Men style ending where Magneto
no Force for anybody.
Chess piece.
I know, but like destroy everything's Force. That would be a whole.
Just nuke the Force for the entire galaxy.
Burn it all. Burn it.
No Force for anyone ever.
Our hands don't deserve this Force.
You know how many fans would just throw up in their mouths after watching that?
I would laugh maniacally.
That would be awesome. Just no more Force for anybody. Guess what? Man, I mean, they can go.
It'd be very much a situation of you didn't win. You didn't win.
It's the snap at the end of Infinity War, man. It's little kids crying in their chairs. You know.
I remember being there for that release night of Infinity Wars. Seeing all the people cry felt so good.
I laughed. I tell this story all the time where the snap was happening and Peter Parker was dying. Spoilers. And I just heard a grown man behind me go, "No! No! No!" They're just screaming and all kids start crying. And you saw parents like telling them that the Black Panther wasn't dead and trying to like reassure their children. And I thought it was awesome. I was like,
Spider-Man will return in Far From Home.
Yeah.
I remember like that the extra credits scene when Nick Fury dies, spoiler, and Miss Marvel shows up, spoiler, on the fax machine, on the pager.
Yes.
And it's like I was the only person in the audience that went, "Woo! I know who that is."
Okay.
Everyone else was going, "What is that? What is that? Who is that?"
Not to get too far off tangent, but I remember at the end of Avengers and seeing Thanos and having my grandmother goes, "Who is that?" "Oh, that's Thanos." "Who is that?" "Oh, he's a problem." He's going to be a problem very much later. And have 10 years later, that happened. But
it's just Grimace. That's all. It's just Grimace.
It's just Grimace. Speaking of Grimace, I'm going to grimace if this movie's not good. What's the over-under on Rise of the Jedi being good?
I'm going to say a solid I'm gonna say for like a solid score in
Rise of
general.
Skywalker,
I'm gonna put
I'm
like
sorry.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Rise of Skywalker estimated around a 7 out of 10 in general.
What's your over under, Winter? On
Oh,
Rise
by
of Skywalker?
far, I mean,
Being good.
Personally, I say there's a high chance of it being good. I want to go like a 7.5 or a 7 out of 10 chance of it being good.
Yeah, 'cause I think if anything, we're gonna enjoy a lot out of it. There's gonna be more good than bad, but there's gonna be enough stuff that people are just kind of gloss over. You just kind of go, "That was really stupid." By the way,
Yeah.
Well, that's Star Wars because this nitpick to all hell. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like because it's J.J. Abrams and because of the vitriol from The Last Jedi, it's gonna be the safest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's gonna be vanilla ice cream on your birthday.
Ren needs to die.
He's not
Ren
gonna die, dude.
needs to die a
It's
dark
called Rise of the
Jedi.
Skywalker. It's gonna be his rise.
Kylo
Ren. Ben Skywalker is going to not die, dude.
I need him to die. I need him to be dark and shit and just a bad person. I need him to die a villain for once. Star Wars, give me a villain.
You know, Star Wars loves its catharsis, man. They love their turn.
Darth Vader and Kylo Ren fight it out. It's Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god! If Kylo Ren dies, a light Jedi, and Anakin Skywalker's ghost comes over and hugs him, I'm going to flip.
They're gonna make
And the father from The Shining fights the Emperor.
Don't say that because you haven't seen Doctor Sleep.
I've read the synopsis on Wiki.
Oh, that's painful.
I need to read the novel before I see the movie.
It doesn't help.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
It still stings. The pain still remains.
Well, hey, at least we got one good movie this year from Stephen King with Pet Sematary.
Oh, I was going to say Gerald's Game, but that's just me.
You don't want to go down that cemetery.
Okay, to be fair, Gerald's Game was really good.
It was godlike.
What about the one that he did with his son about a bunch of grass?
I watched that. It wasn't that
What?
bad. The one,
Yeah.
Which one's that?
it's the Netflix movie where the kid goes into this.
Oh, 1929 or something like that.
No. This is
Another
a different one where it's like the grass.
Jesus Christ, people!
It's stupid. I watched it. It was kind of cool. But
Well, I
anywho,
guess-
Is it as
too was
stupid as the
actually
Langoliers? Is that
nothing
stupid?
no, it's stupider than the Tommy Knockers.
Then I rest my case. Yeah.
Oh, tell me, which one was the one about the cat people who slept with, who the mother and son cat aliens slept with each other?
You know what? You just invoked a MOTN reviews because I've been wanting to review Sleepwalkers for a minute.
What you did?
You see what you did? One of you have to now do the MOTN reviews. Of
No one
Sleepwalkers.
mentioned Street Fighters. Yeah, no one mentions Monster Hunter.
Well, hey, guess what? Guess what, Winter?
What?
It's coming to PC pretty soon, buddy.
I'm going to push your real show. Anyway, what's your final thoughts on Star Wars in general, Austin?
Okay, so like I said, Star Wars has an inherent hope that hope for me always gets to me. The story of one person who is at the bottom of society's barrel, fighting back, not just because they want to be better, because they are better than the people around them and genuinely care about other people. That gets to me, and Star Wars does that well. But it also has a lot of failings that gets in the way and clouds the ultimate view in the end. So I like Star Wars, and I really, really want to see more of it, but I hope they stop being so cowardly to stop taking risks.
Very good. What's your final thoughts, Winner?
My final thoughts are pretty much identical. Like the Star Wars needs to be taking a lot more risks in what they're doing, and it's. I'm definitely shutting my phone down.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I watch movies a lot. Like I have the brain where I'll watch a terrible movie, but I'll still like dive deep in my head of like the philosophical consequences of their decisions, or like what the different characters are supposed to be, like illustrations of how deep did George Lucas want to go in this hero's journey type thing,
Yeah.
which was big for him. Like, did he have it like in the mind, like Philip K. Dick did for Man in a High Castle type stuff, or not the hero's journey, but stuff guiding his writing process. But anyway, that doesn't even matter. George Lucas has nothing to do with the series anymore.
He let the dream die.
That just gets to me for some dang reason.
You gotta let the baby die.
Yeah. So I like I said, I will be a sucker for Star Wars stuff. I wish D&D or Wizard of the Coast made a deal to release like a version of their system for Star Wars. Unfortunately, Fantasy Flight Games has the rights or something like that to the Star Wars franchise to make RPGs.
Yep.
And there, of course, Fantasy Flights has this connotation of, but you have to purchase these wacky dice to play this game with us.
Oh yeah, they have like weird symbols all over them.
Yeah, you got the flip flop. Now you get the flamban. Oh,
yeah, got a snorkel, the scoop loop.
Yeah.
I mean, there are good RPGs out there for Star Wars, but
right. Like I used to have the West End games, where it was just like nothing but D6 for Star Wars. And that was fun for a bit. And so those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Oh man, the thing about Star Wars and the thing that I love about it the most is Star Wars is one of those properties that has unlimited potential. Like Star Wars has the potential to capture the imagination of anybody at any age. Like a good Star Wars scene will make you 10 years old again in your movie seat, wide-eyed and just mind blown. It can literally do anything. Like, you can make like a Gran Turismo level Star Wars racing game. You can make a mystery drama. You can make a novella. You can do anything with Star Wars. Anything. But like back to what Austin was saying is that, will they take the risk? Will they thumb their nose at convention? Will they take a hit to their pocket to make something that may be a bit more thought-provoking or something that's a bit more challenging, that's not, that caters to the lowest common denominator, And it's frustrating because it has the potential to be so good,
something that I forgot to even bring up, and it's a possibility, like in the long-term scheme of things. Like, how Cloverfield, in that video series, they have this thing of like, okay, the script isn't really popping. What we need to do, put it in the Cloverfield universe type thing.
Man.
Do you okay, I get the answer already. Do you think
10 Cloverfield was a good movie? 10 Cloverfield Lane was a good movie.
But do you think that Star Wars has that potential of going, we have the script here, but it didn't have enough chutzpah or something?
I think that would be a cop. I think Star Wars needs to be one of those things that's foundation up Star Wars, because the fans will sniff it out in a hot second.
I think Star Wars needs the Marvel treatment, where they get mainline movies, but multiple different series that are actually good quality.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, you can do anything, and if you want it to be part of some collective universe,
figure out a place for Kelsey Grammer, please, in the series.
Man, just give.
I mean, for goodness sake, Fallen Order is a good piece of extra content.
100%.
Kelsey Grammer needs the work, so if you can get him like a position,
and also
somewhere in the
Disney, if you're listening, you're not, but don't be afraid to put faith in wacky directors.
Yeah.
Don't let Rian Johnson scare you away from having a Mike Flanagan direct Star Wars movie.
I would love a Taika Waititi.
I would love a
Star Wars.
I would love a Taika Waititi Star Wars. Yeah, 100%. I would love a Coen's brother Star Wars movie. Can you imagine a Coen's brother Star Wars movie?
Yeah,
that'd be weird. It would be different.
Hey, man, it's just parsecs.
Or even a James Wan Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
just
The Conjuring.
Why not make a Star Wars movie on a shoestring budget? Let's see what happens.
Or you get like really, really weird, and you took Bong Joon-ho, who was the director for Snowpiercer.
That's what I'm saying. Snowpiercer is just put Snowpiercer on Hoth.
I mean, Chris Evans was in Snowpiercer, and guess what? He loved it. He loved being in that wacky movie.
Yeah, man. Star Wars can do anything and has so much potential, but will Disney allow it to really reach that potential? I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
So, before we close out, I have some quick little questions.
Sure.
But it's like a diversion. So, we all love Star Wars.
Yep.
In some way. But we know it's going to come to a close soon for at least a few years. What other medias or series have shows or other bits of content coming out that you're looking out for?
Man, I'm really curious to see what they do with the Star Wars. I mean, not Star Wars. I've been saying that about 50,000 times tonight. I meant to say, given what they're doing with what they did with Bumblebee, I'm very curious to see where they take Transformers. Now that it's taken away from Michael Bay in a weird way. I'm curious to see if they keep that interesting and fun and just kind of irreverent and light, but also Star Wars, but also Transformers-y. I'm really curious to see what they do with Transformers. I'm also very curious to see what they do with what DC Comics does with the Batman.
Oh boy.
I'm curious to see if that's the new jumping on point for something positive for DC.
Just
Comics.
not so nitty gritty, please.
No, I think they learned their lesson. I think it's gonna be a good. I mean,
Just
Matt
Batman's
Reeves
pushing out the eyes of the penguin.
with blood on
Is
his
what you
gloves.
want?
Taste the
He just
blood.
starts lapping the blood in the penguin's eye socket.
Oh man,
Serve me!
Matt Reeves is a great director, and I have full faith that he's going to put out something that's going to just blow our minds. So I'm very excited for the Batman, just because of that director alone. I don't care about the cast. Just the cast is going to do what he tells them to do. That director alone is going to produce something insane, and I'm very curious. I'm more curious about that than any Marvel movie right now. Just to see if they let him mold the DC universe. Like who's going to appear in that movie? Like, will they mention other heroes? Is it going to be a Nolan thing where Batman's in this bubble and he can't play outside of his Gotham City? Like, I'm just very fascinated about what they do. Like, can we get a Hal Jordan mention in the Batman movie? Or an Aquaman mention? Or Themyscira?
So I was talking to The Flash, and
The Flash.
Yeah.
And he told me he would be there in a Flash. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with Transformers and Batman. To answer that question.
So I'm looking forward to HBO has a show, I believe it's HBO coming out.
Oh.
That is like Lovecraft.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, it's like I think maybe Jordan Peele may be connected to it as well. But it's like combining all the Lovecraftian literature and everything.
Really? I never heard of that.
And I know Mike G really loves H.P. Lovecraft. And all.
Oh, please don't put that
I had
on
no
me,
idea. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll look that up while I'm talking. Then there's also I'm still going through all the episodes of Star Trek. I took a hiatus. Lovecraft Country. Oh, it's called
Lovecraft Country. What in the world?
I never heard of that at all, man.
Bad Robot is connected to it.
So they're doing they're doing kind of like a Castle Rock kind of situation.
Yeah. Lovecraft Country follows Atticus Black as he joins up with his friend Letitia and his uncle George embark on a road trip across 1950s Jim Crow America in search of his missing father. This begins a struggle to survive and overcome both the racist terrors of white America and the terrifying monsters that could be ripped from Lovecraft paperback.
That sounds like watching.
By the way, Jordan Peele is connected to it. If you did not get if I didn't say that before, yes,
I'm sold. I'm game.
Yeah,
that sounds crazy, dude.
I need to look this up for a trailer because there has to be something somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be. I don't think there is. I mean, I still need to finish. I need to watch the Watchmen TV show.
Watchmen is so good. I just want to guess about Watchmen to somebody.
A trial of HBO to watch it, just binge watch it all.
Who has time to be racist when an unknowable one is just floating down the street?
I mean, it's Lovecraft, so it's already racist.
It's always racist.
Someone had to say it. We can't. I guess.
Who has time for racism when Cthulhu's just in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Just
we need to build a wall to get this ancient one away from our peoples. Now, see.
I was going to say something bad. Move on from this conversation.
Thank you.
Oh boy. So
midichlorians.
Thank you, Winter.
So for me, the things I'm looking forward to the most this month, The Witcher comes out.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Like, legit, I know, Winter, you're not that terribly excited, but honestly, you should give it a shot. Like, it's going to be very similar to Game of Thrones. It's going to be very political.
I can't wait to see my boy Henry Cavill being Geralt of Rivia, dog.
He looks really good.
I forgot to mention 2 other things. By the way,
go ahead. I'll continue afterwards. Go ahead.
Go nuts.
Okay,
man.
there's also the next series in the Pope series of Jude Law playing a Pope.
Oh, the young Pope.
Yeah, the young Pope. Now there is the
Pope.
new Pope, where John
Gun
Malkovich plays the Pope in charge while Jude Law is in a coma. So
This is like a Spanish novella.
yeah, and I
kinda dope.
love it.
Is the next Pope going to be the Gun Pope?
Gun Pope.
Young Pope and Gun Pope?
And then there is a Perry Mason remake coming up that I'm also interested in, with Matthew Rhys playing the Perry Mason.
Okay.
And these are all HBO series in 2020.
I was scared of Perry Mason as a kid. He was very
Interesting.
imposing.
Why? Why were you scared of Perry
I
Mason?
just didn't like him. He had these weird, Frankenstein eyes. I didn't like his. I didn't like. The
Did you like Ironsides?
No, man. It kind of creeped me out. Like, he didn't do anything scary. He just looked imposing. No, I wasn't a fan. Mm-mm.
And there's like Dick Wolf is coming out with a FBI. Well, he already did. Sorry, never mind.
All right. So, my last 2 things. I'm looking forward to the Silmarillion for Amazon Prime.
Ooh, yes, I forgot.
I hope that's good. I just really, really do hope that's good.
Crossed on that one, man.
Yeah. And, of course, my entire body is just tense. And I mean tense for the next year about news of the Wheel of Time.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like, oh my God. How many times have you read the series?
Wow, I just realized I've been deep. I've only read the series once. I didn't realize you could read books multiple times.
Just throw the book away.
Okay, so let me put this in perspective. I've read the series book to book twice, and I've listened to the audiobooks thrice.
I need to listen to the audiobook.
I need to listen audio. Come on, Audible.com. Sponsor Master of the Nerdiverse cast.
I need to be a warden. Is that what they're called? Or
No.
Hold on.
Fact checking will ruin.
You're very close.
They're what are they?
Warder.
Oh,
You're off by one letter.
I would never have gotten that. That's how long it's been.
Taishar Manethrin. Anyway,
My goodness.
I can go on for days.
The Aes Sedai or stuff like is that
Aes Sedai. It is Aes Sedai.
You're talking. The reason why I don't know how to pronounce any of these things is I was a lone reader. The only other guy I knew who read them didn't like me. So,
That's sad.
or like we would just talk about like, aren't the books kind of funny how they like push you to the edge and then they go, nope, not this book, and then go to buy the next one.
Negative edging.
Yeah.
Okay, so so there's a cast list already, Winter. You need to look it up
Okay.
because it is looking pretty solid right now.
I'll buy the audiobook because I have no idea. I've heard of the story, but I've never.
Mike, please tell us when you do, because it is a classic fantasy series. It's not for everyone, granted. If you don't like the series, it's fine. That's a generally accepted okay thing to do. But there's so many cool things about this series.
Is it similar to I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream?
No, not at all.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, guys.
This is classic fantasy. This is high fantasy.
Yes, from an ex-Vietnam vet, I believe.
It sounds like you have to be high to enjoy this fantasy.
No, but if you were, you would get a weird insight to it, I bet.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's bring this Star Wars cast to a close. Screen wipe. Where can we find you, Austin?
Oh, Jesus. You can find me at Austin Ozzy on Twitch, on Twitter, sometimes on Instagram, but don't really count that as likely.
Likely.
Yeah, I do D&D with these chuckos or buckos sometimes. So keep that on the lookout for. I've been helping a friend actually make a compendium of homebrew D&D content, so that might be up on Reddit sometime soon. So
look for it.
Besides that, not much else. I am a regular person. So I have a job.
I am a human.
I have flesh and blood in my bones. I swear I am not longer no alien. Please do not deport me.
He's doing another voice, and this one's risky. He's doing it.
Guys, we have to flag on the play.
No, we're gonna have to remove Apu.
ICE cannot find me.
Oh no, man.
Okay. You can find me on Trash Monk the Third, Trash Monk III on Instagram,
Trash Monk
Facebook. Yeah. On Facebook and Twitter. I'm doing all sorts of things. I'm not responsible for what these guys do, so do not message me.
Message him.
I mean, I've called you out on Twitter multiple times,
and I do not respond in kind.
You do actually, sir. Do not lie.
I just go, what are you talking about? Que pasa? What?
Good God.
Yeah. I'm just a simple man.
I'm just
with a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, possible TikTok in the future. We'll see what happens.
TikTok. The party don't start till we walk in. If you like this wacky content, support us on Patreon. Shut up. You can support us on Patreon /MOTN. Kesha is next level.
I think she drank her own urine in her show back in the.
It's sterile and I like the taste.
I would lick her.
Okay, let's hurry this episode up.
Okay. Before I just close, it's complimentary for me to close this episode out to like Star Wars music, but I will close this out to Catch a Dinosaur in a hot second.
No, I'll close it out. Star Wars, those beautiful Star Wars.
I'm excited.
I am so excited. And we will always
Buffalo
ask you
Bill's here
to take that one step.
It puts the hose on. What the heck ever Buffalo Bill said. God dang it.
Beyond?
He's already getting...
Damn it!
You've been wed for how many months and you're already getting the old husband memory loss fatigue?
Shush.
Thank you.